with that ceremonial bell ringing, we call the Non-Degree Credentials Research Network's eighth in-person meeting to order. Again, welcome to this is our eighth time meeting in person since 2019. So this has been a really wonderful network. We're really excited that this has gone on as long as it has and keeps growing. We're not going anywhere at this point looking at this turnout that we have today. We had actually 160 people registered, which is really a record for us. We're actually such a record that we're hoping that not all 160 show up, at least not at the same time. But we'll make do if it does happen, and that'll be wonderful to see this interest that we have in our community. A little bit of a shame that, as you can see, it is raining. We selected this space because we do have this beautiful outdoor dining, multi-purpose reception space. And I really thought May 28th in DC it was a sure thing, but there's no such thing as no sure thing, right? So we'll make do, but if there is a break in the weather, we will wipe down the tables and we will have that space available for everyone. If you do need to take any conversations, or if you want to spread out a little bit, want some personal time, there are tables down on the second floor that are also an option if you would like to do any kind of side meetings during the day. In terms of logistics, we are recording this meeting, so I think you all accepted that when you registered. There are instructions on the tables for connecting to the guest Wi-Fi here, and we'll have also some details towards the end of the day about an informal social gathering for those of you who wish to continue the party after our reception at the end of the day today. So I do want to say that this is, again, really happy to see everyone here. This year we did go down the path of carefully kind of curating this program, where we really tried to cut at some of the really essential topics and questions, research questions in our field. We've really tried to find speakers that will present, I'd say, contrasting. I wouldn't say that it doesn't have to be a debate, doesn't have to be an argument, but contrasting viewpoints on some of these questions affecting our field. And I think this is 2025. We've been at the NCRN now for over 6 years, and certainly I think the field of non-degree credentials research, it has grown, it is advancing. When I look at the registration list, I see job titles that did not exist when we started this network, quite literally. And if you are one of those directors of institutional credentialing or working on academic partnerships with credentialing bodies, welcome. I hope this is a professional community that really supports your work. We have a really proud history of being a place where practitioners and researchers come together. That is definitely not changing at all. And I mean no disrespect at all to any of the other conferences in this space, but I think we have a really unique format here where it's relatively free of influence from vendors, where nobody is on this program trying to sell you anything. This is all about just looking at the research, looking at the evidence base, and figuring out what does the path forward look like for our field. So, again, don't mean to start rambling here, but it's really just a real privilege to put this conference together. I'm really happy to see everyone here. So please feel free to reach out to me or Michelle if you have any concerns during the day. I'll hand over to Michelle to kind of brief everyone on the strategic plan and a little bit of set the stage for the rest of the day.
All right, thanks, Kyle, and thanks everyone for being here and for joining us. So it's a lovely day to talk about credentials. We've been all talking about this weather, but perhaps it's an opportunity. No one's going to be distracted by the view. We can all just really hunker down and think about credentials together. So that's great. I wanted to give everybody a kind of a quick update on the strategic plan that we've been working on over the past year, and many of you all gave us feedback and helped us shape kind of where we're going. And I think just to kind of update everyone, I think one of the big questions is about our fundraising strategy, and we are diversifying funders. So we're very excited that we have already gotten some additional support for this conference from Strada and from Pew, in addition to Lumina's support over the years. And so we're continuing with that strategy. I think we're excited about that. There might be a small fee associated with the conference next year, so hopefully that won't detract you all. You'll be still excited to join us, but we'll be asking for some feedback on that as well. But we are planning to continue with the monthly webinars, continue with the network building activities that we've been doing, really focusing more and continuing to focus more on the sort of translating research into policy and practice and kind of being that bridge from rigorous research to the field. I think that's really a strong commitment of what we're trying to do here is to facilitate those connections in lots of ways. And so I think, to the extent that you all have ideas and suggestions for us, like partnerships, things we should be doing, let us know. We've been talking with UPSIA and ACRO about, working together on convergence. We have some sessions planned already for this upcoming conference, so we're excited about that, and more things to come. We're thinking about expanding into doing some more blog posts, possibly in partnership with WorkShift, to get extending on some of the work that ERC has been doing and building that out to have that be part of the NCRN. So lots of opportunities, and I think there's more things we could do, but we want to make sure we continue that sort of baseline commitment to keeping our community together and kind of facilitating the sharing of research and bringing everyone together. So with that, that's just kind of the where we're going. As far as today, like Kyle said, we've spent a lot of time thinking about, putting together an agenda that brings together some really important issues that we see for the day. So I think you all probably have grabbed an agenda, but just to kind of ground us in where we're going, we really thought, Paul Fain would be a great place to start to kind of give us a nice lay of the land about kind of where things are right now. But then we want to jump into our first panel. We'll take a look at kind of the future of credentialing. What's the role of the degree? Is there a limit to skills-based hiring? That should be a very provocative discussion. Then we're going to jump into, it feels like, the perennial discussion about definitions of credentials. But I promise you, I think we might have some new angles on that because I think it's still very much a pressing issue for us to kind of continue to dialogue about. Then we have lunch. We're very excited. We're going to have a book talk or a book preview from John Scretany and Mary Walshock from UC San Diego. Give us more insight on kind of what's happening in the four-year continuing ed space. So that's kind of new and exciting. Then we have, in the afternoon panels focusing on data and research. We always have the perennial data panel because that's, of course, our big holy grail here is good data. And then, I think we should have a very hearty panel on research outcomes, research and outcomes. So, and then following, sort of capping off the day, we will have some reflections kind of on all of what we're talking about from an international perspective. So I think, a lot of times we operate in this island here in the U.S., which, we are a unique ecosystem, but it is helpful to get some international perspective. So we will have that at the end of the day. And then finally capping off with Mitchell Stevens, who's been working on this project called the Futures Project, which really will give us, I think, a very big picture view of where all this work fits in. So I think that's going to be a very nice way for us to kind of bring this all together at the end of the day. So that's just a quick recap on kind of where we're going. We hope that we've tried to build in opportunities for networking and for people to chat, and again, like Kyle said, the informal gathering after, the reception. So hopefully you all have good times to get to know each other and talk. Before we jump into our speaker, I wanted to just spend a moment. I think, for us, all of us are very active in this field, and maybe we could just spend a moment going through and thinking about what we all hope to learn from today's conference. There's going to be a lot of stuff on the agenda, but we'd love to, see if you all could just spend, 2 minutes and share with us, what you're most interested in learning about today. What do you want to dialogue about today? Just take out your phone if you wouldn't mind just chatting in here. It should show up on the screen so you can also kind of see what others are thinking. It'll be a good moment to just ground yourself in what we're doing today. Okay, well, if you all want to continue, you can continue to add in some thoughts. And wanted to take us now into our next speaker. Oh, I see still some more thoughts coming up here.